In Parsha Korach, we have an incredible insight into true leadership, into the level of Moshe Rabbeinu, and how truly great he was. We know that the episode of Korach was extremely hurtful to Moshe Rabbeinu. It was one of the rare times that we have him responding when the situation could not be resolved, and he prayed to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, don't do anything in terms of leaning in their direction. You know how loyal I've been, you know how sincere I've been, and it was really unusual for Moshe Rabbeinu to sort of, push himself on that level. That's when things did not resolve itself. That's when he had asked Dathan and Abiram. He had said to them, Rav Lechem b'nei Levi, don't do this. You want too much. You're asking for too much. He begged them to think this over and rethink the situation, but they wouldn't. And that's when Moshe Rabbeinu said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, please make this abundantly clear that this was not my decision and it was yours. But before that point, it's incredible that when Korach Vadasa came to Moshe Rabbeinu and laid this incredibly harsh attack upon him and Aaron, his initial response as a pasuk is Vayiplu Apanav. He fell on his face. He Rashi says he was misrashal. He could not literally have the physical strength to bear this situation without literally collapsing. He collapsed on the floor. He collapsed Apanav, on his face. And Rashi explains that this weakness was because his initial reaction was, I can't do this anymore. How can I continue to pray? This is already Sirchon Revi, Rashi says. This is the fourth time. And how many times can I go back to the well? How many times can I go back to the one who can make a difference, to the one who has the decision-making powers? How many times can I intercede and beg HaKadosh Baruch Hu, please don't take it out on your children? After all, this is they know not what they do. They're making a mistake. It's not the whole tzibur, whatever the extent of the tefillah would have been. That was his initial reaction. I must pray once again for them, and I don't know if I have the koyach. And even though this was an attack specifically against Moshe Rabbeinu, specifically about his leadership, it wasn't a complaint about meat. It wasn't Chas v'sholom when he was away with the egel. It wasn't even about Eretz Yisrael. It was uniquely about him. And yet Rashi gives the mashal about the friend of the king who intercedes on behalf of his son. But after 3 times, how many times can I intercede on behalf of the young prince? How many times can I go back to the king and say it's okay, let him go? And by the 4th time, the friend doesn't want to go in anymore. But what Rashi doesn't mention is that the 4th time it would have been an attack against the very friend that interceded the first 3 times. Rashi doesn't even mention that as part of the mashal. That really was what happened here. It was the interceder, the one who's been helping Klal Yisrael the whole time, is now the one who's victimized, and yet there's no mention of that in Rashi. So you see an incredible thing. I think the reason why Rashi doesn't mention it because Moshe Rabbeinu was on such an incredible level that he was not impacted by that attack. The fact that Moshe Rabbeinu was the target of the attack, Moshe taking all this covet for yourself, that did not play a role in his thinking. So humble, so devoid of ego as Moshe Rabbeinu, that even though he was the one who was the target of the attack, when it came to the mashal, Rashi leaves out that aspect. He just says now the friend can't go back a 4th time because he just feels it's too much. How can I continue to do this? This is who Moshe Rabbeinu was. His initial response after doing so many things for Klal Yisrael was, do I have the strength to be mispalo? Clearly it's a very lofty level, but this is what we have to aspire to. This is the kind of humility we have to strive to instill in ourselves. So many times we react to situations, after all that I've done for you, how can you do this to me? You owe me. Even as parents, we sometimes feel that we're entitled to sort of complain to our children, after all that I've done for you, this is the way you repay me. In reality, it's really not the issue. The issue needs to be what's right and what's wrong, and the issue needs to be, what can I do to help the situation? Moshe Rabbeinu knew that his responsibility is one thing: take care of his children, take care of his people, and pray for them. Despite the fact that they did something wrong, that was the way he reacted. Later on, when they refused, then Moshe Rabbeinu calculated, and it wasn't ego, when he calculated that there needs to be a clear statement, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that this is not about me. This is about your decision, and he prayed to HaKadosh Baruch Hu not to receive their offerings. But that was, again,